Hey, good morning, Noel.
Yeah, it's 7:30 on the West Coast, and yeah, sorry for my lovely backdrop of my hotel. I should also confess that we didn't record the after the Miami game because of me. I was obviously here, not there, so it's a bit screwy. But I messaged you this morning, bright and early. I've been up since 4 a.m. because that's what I'm like here in Vancouver. Wide awake at 4 o'clock in the morning. I normally go to the gym, but this morning it's pouring with rain and I didn't feel like driving to the gym. And I really wanted to talk about this TFC price increase, season ticket holders, and what looks like an exodus of a lot of the die-hard fan base that you and me certainly know a lot of. Um, and where is this club and what's their thinking behind it? So I guess we should set the scene because I guess yesterday I was in a meeting and somebody texted me and they're like, "Hey, my tickets went up 23%. What did yours go up?" I didn't look because I was in a meeting. I came out of that meeting, I went for lunch and I pulled up my invoice and my tickets had gone up 11%. Uh, for the two tickets I have. And then I logged into Twitter and I saw Martin Bailey's 25% increase. And, obviously you and me, we have different friends in different groups and different things. And you're kind of in different group chats and you start seeing the, the news that it's quite high in a lot of cases and a lot of players, a lot of fans that have
Mhm.
been here from day one and you start to see that you know there's a lot of people just saying I'm done, which is I think it's sad that you're being priced out, but I also don't think the club cares.
Oh, I think the club's given up. Well, I don't want to use the word they don't care, but for them, it's about the bottom dollar. They're about their business. They're fully in business mode, and we see, you know, you and I were kind of laughing a week ago, if even that, with regard to the other tenant that shares BMO Field and the changes that that league's going through, and the fact that it seems as if management doesn't really care with what the fans have to say. And now it's our turn to basically say, yeah, we're going to raise the prices. Um, I'm sure the fact that there's a World Cup and all these renovations has something to do with it. Whether or not the city pays for majority of these fees renovations or not, they're looking at ways that they can make money off of us, right? They think we're diehard, that we're loyal to the end, that we won't walk away. Like the product on the pitch hasn't given at least me enough reason to say, yeah, I'm definitely willing to take the increase again. Because this isn't a new increase. We got one last off season as well.
Yeah, and I
And what?
think that's fair. I think you so there's a couple of points because I've seen some interesting takes. um Obviously, it's when you're hiking prices substantially and people have to make a decision because as you and me talk about all the time, the cost of the world and not just TFC and all those things. It is a hike, and it's every hike in everything you do. Like I cut a bunch of streaming services last week, much to the annoyance of my kids. But at the end of the day, like three of them went up, and I'm like, is there enough value in what I'm seeing to justify my streaming services? And TFC is very similar in the same sort of concept, because have you seen enough, you know, from this team in the last, let's call it 3 months since the departure of the Italians? Have you seen enough that says this team is going to be challenging next year in any way, shape, or form? And the answer is no, because we still have a huge amount of unknown questions on who's coming back, who's staying, who is the designated player that's coming in. There's still a lot of unknowns. And then they're asking you to renew now, to pay extra on the hopes that it's we've got faith in them. And you're paying for faith and loyalty. And I think that's a part of it. One somebody did say to me yesterday, well, here's the thing though, you've got to understand that as soon as Messi comes and that Messi game is available, a lot of the diehards are selling their tickets, and because they, and then they get the Messi rebate. And I know where you're going with this, but
Oh,
and
okay.
it's the short term. That's a short term thing, right? And so I do understand people saying that, but I also, by the same token, going, I don't really care about Messi. I don't really care about that, and that's separate for me. At the end of the day, he plays one game a year at BMO. I care about all the games we go to watch at BMO. That's what I care about. And so, yes, if you go and sell your tickets, but then why should you have to sell your tickets to try and offset the increase and things like that? And I think we do know that fans selling tickets does annoy the club for the Messi game. We understand that. We know that. But at the end of the day, it's partly because all the league does is promote freaking Messi.
Please correct me if I'm wrong. Does the team not hike the prices for the Messi game anyways?
Yes, they do.
So
There's the seats available for pitch side for $1,000 that you could normally pay
not
300.
even, and that's my point. So I hate when I see people criticizing people reselling them, because the same club that you want to defend in that case is turning around and screwing over the fan base anyways and jacking up the price for that specific game. So why can't fans turn around and make a profit the same way the club's willing to? And the club doesn't care about you and I as fans. And that's proven with another price increase for another abysmal football season. We're spending money to watch it's not even just watch. Let's add that the whole journey of what it takes for a TFC fan to commute down to BMO Field in today's day and age, because that is a cost
4 hours
factor.
about 4 hours of my life,
Thank
4
you.
hours of my life, 2 hours each
And
way.
that 100%, and that is a cost factor that we need to add into that conversation. Why should somebody justify another price increase and having to spend 2 hours each way to commute to watch a half-assed team on the pitch?
Well, yeah, and on top of that cost is,
Parking, food,
like,
all
yeah,
that.
it's not a cheap day
Right?
out anymore. Like that, and that's the part of the thing that I struggle with. It's like, yeah, but what it comes back down to me is when I turn up to the game, I turn up to the thing. We're not even competitive. We haven't been competitive for a long time. Yes, we've grinded out a lot of draws, and I'm sure they're going to celebrate all the draws, and they've made
They are.
1.5
They are.
1.5 million in GAM that we've freed up by trading away everything. And I understand all that, and it's, let Hernandez cook, and I've heard all that crap for I don't know how long, but I'm bored of it. At the end of the day, I just want to see a product on the pitch that's competitive. I sat watching on the news yesterday was Chicago Fire, right? And they're in the playoffs. So they were rock bottom with us down last year. They're in the playoffs. They brought in a good manager in Berhalter. They brought in a good players that fit their system. They moved out Deadwood in Shaqiri. Like we
waited too long to remove our Deadwood, and that's what everybody at the end of the day knows. If we didn't want to start the season with him, we did, and that screwed us over, right? If we hindsight 2020, we can sit here and go back, say what, but we know that was part of the issue, and whether or not it was necessarily a cancer issue in the locker room, that chapter should have ended after last season. We should have moved on and started a new chapter at the beginning of the season, so you can start off fresh. They whatever happened in the offseason, like the minute he wasn't being cooperative with the club, it's the moment they should have said, you know what, let's just buy him out. There's no point. We're wasting our time going back and forth if he's not working with the club in a transfer out of here. They should have just bought him out then and there and then moved on. Right? They waited too long, which ended up becoming an issue with why we're exactly where we are right now.
So where we are right now is we're paying for failure.
Yeah,
that's what it is, and I do wonder when I read all the messages, the tweets, the emails, the DMs, the side chats. When you start, I look at some of these people like I have massive respect for some of these people that have been here through the good times, the bad times, the really bad times, and the fact that we have such diehard fans walking away now. it troubles me. Like I just don't think you can always. BMO's always got that special thing with the South End, and I think you're starting to lose that, and I think that's what's going
It's
to
shift.
it's shifting, and it's shifting in a
Yeah,
way that I don't think we want to. And then from my personal standpoint, like I said to you yesterday, that this is my if this doesn't improve, this is my last season, right?
yeah,
Because there's as much as I love this team and I love going to watch games, I love it. It's a lot of work and not a lot of joy, and that's hard to like I've at times this year I've struggled with sitting in my car for 2 hours to get to the game. Yes, I do live outside the city. I do have to travel in, um, you know, and it's very hard to give up that time in life to watch
yeah.
something that's this ugly.
Well, I mean, here's the realities. I live in the city. It still takes me around an hour to get to BMO Field. So it's not as if people who live in the city have it any easier, right? Because traffic sucks. So whether I take the bus or subway, it takes me basically an hour, like because of where I live. So I have there's no way for me to get around it, right? And um, like for my search situation, you know why I'm probably not going to renew this year. Doesn't mean I won't be at a lot of games next year, but it could also just be like, you know what, once I walk away, how much longer will it take for me not to even care about trying to see if I can get a ticket or watching them, because here's another factor. When you don't have season seats, I'm not spending whatever it costs to get an Apple subscription to watch MLS games. I'm sorry, TFC, but I'm only watching Apple because I get a free subscription with my season tickets. If I walk away from that, I'm like, yeah, if there's a game on TSN or there's another option of watching it, then yeah, but otherwise you're going to lose another viewership on multiple levels. And I don't think they realize that like when people don't renew, you're losing not just butts in the stands, but you're potentially losing viewership on your subscription service that the league has, right? Regardless if it's a free one or not, less people will turn around and spend that money once they walk away. Why would they?
Well, that's it, right? And as I started by saying, like, one of the things I canceled this year was, recently was my Apple. Like, I have Apple TV, and I've canceled Apple TV. Yes, we do get a free one for MLS, so I kind of still get the games, but the actual TV service I canceled because, again, it's
Same
just
here.
not something you have to look at your cost and look at your expenditure. And I think everybody has looked. I think a lot of people, we have some friends that have 3 4 tickets, right? And I saw some people go from 4 tickets to 1 ticket yesterday, which that's just them. They're no longer bringing their family.
Yeah.
And then as you need tickets, you pick up an extra one. Like I carry an extra one to bring one of my 3 kids with me. It may be I bring in you next year. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just the cost. And I just find
Yeah.
that once you can't justify spending money on a team that has been in a holding pattern for 5 years, and whether they like to, they keep going on about the rebuild starts now. No, it hasn't. We haven't been in the playoffs since 2020. We haven't done anything good since 2020. We have no core of this team that you can say, this is who you're building around. We still don't. We have too many questions. And I just think it's a bit of a kick in the teeth to the people that have put up with this crap for 5 years to then go and hike the price. And I get it. They've got the World Cup coming. They want to pay for all these things and they want that. But you have to give something back. And I just don't see that they're giving anything back. And I just don't know how that's going to look. And I do wonder what the numbers will look like by the end of this week in renewals.
Well, here's the funny thing is, I think it's going to be better because if I'm correct, um, we have until the end of the month to confirm your renewal, right?
Yeah.
So it's not even the renewals that I think I'm wondering is how many new ticket subscriptions are they going to get?
Well, apparently they have a wait list.
Right. And you know what? That might be true, but I question that fact because,
I do too. Who's waitlisting for a team that sucks?
yeah, right. Like, prime example, right? We put tickets up on sale sometimes, at face value, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it can be
Unsold.
like, all right, you can't sell it, right? And it's not even a matter of it's just there's tons of empty tickets there, so there's too much options. It's one thing to say that, like, there, to me, the time where TFC was a hot ticket item is gone. We're not that club anymore, at least not at the moment. Their product on the pitch is not attracting people. There's
Yep.
cheaper alternative options out there. There's, whether it be you want to go watch the women's go play, whether you want to go watch other sports that are now available in the summertime that we didn't have, there's other options. And that's another, like, it's almost the same thing that happened to other teams in this league or in the city when TFC became a thing, right?
Yeah.
It's now another spending option. People, you know, those same teams didn't pay attention to what was happening and ended up becoming a third, fourth, fifth option. And if TFC is not careful, if you think that, you're that big of a deal, well, I'm sorry, you're not.
You it's easy to blend into obscurity in the city, and I think I sit back and I look, and I looked around last season, well, this season, whatever you want to call it, and you look at how many faces you no longer see. You look at the days where every people get on the south end and the supporters groups and stuff like that, but life changes, and a lot of people, some people have aged out of supporters groups, some people have changed their priorities in life, but like we just look around and just it's like ghosts of the past, and I think that's it's sad. And then when you see people, like, because we have a lot of peeps that we follow on various socials, and you see them saying, look, enough's enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad. Like, it's you're like, well, part of going the last 5 years is because we do have such great friend groups and things. It is about a social thing, and it has been about seeing people, and it has been about catching up with people that we like and that we love to hang out with. And now that's what's been going now. And then when you start to see them, 3, 4, 5 more walk away, it's you have to make a decision. And I think it's the clubs put it on themselves. It's been their issue, it's been their failures. And as I say, I just think it's a monumental moment to shift away.
Yeah, it's something we'll definitely take maybe more of a deep dive at the end of the season as we, get more update and confirmation, and maybe chat with more people to see who actually will be walking away after because the last home game of the season that we have, that's a midweek game, you said, right?
It's a Wednesday night. I think it's
Like that.
LAFC on October 8th. I think.
I hope, like, that's a horrible way to end the season for Toronto FC, like, home game, right? But because for us, it's like you and I have mentally tuned this team out, like many other people have. We're just going through the motions at this point.
Well, you can pretty much predict every result. We're going for a 1-1 draw. We're literally playing for 1-1 draws now.
It seems that way.
And look, at the end of the day, like, the thing is, we love this team, and it's hard to walk away. It's hard to just. That's why I find it, I find it so shocking that they're just willing to crank these prices. And I did see some people, $400-500 increases yesterday. So
I saw some too as well. Like, and that, like, first of all, like, I got the notice. I kind of glanced at it, didn't really pay attention to it, and then it was all the notifications I'm getting from the different group chats and the different percentage I'm starting to see amongst everybody. And then I'm like, hold up, let me actually go look at the invoice, right? And then I'm looking at it, I'm reading it, and then I'm like, okay, I got to think about this. And then when you message me to let me know all the people from our supporter group that's walking away, that hit me. And it's just like, yeah, people are just done.
Yeah.
They're just
I think
done.
that's the vibe, though. I think that's the vibe, and I think it's just, and I didn't, because I say I had to go and calculate mine because I couldn't remember, like, I paid for it last year, so I can't remember last Wednesday, so I had to go and look at my old invoice, then look at my new invoice, do the deduction, and then I'm like, okay, so I'm essentially, 11%, which I think our home win percentage was 13%.
Yeah, I'm in the lower, like I'm not I didn't get a massive increase when I didn't do a full calculation, but based on what I remember, certain, like I'm like, okay, it's it's up, but not like, oh my god, right? Like, so I didn't get the high end like others, but at the end of the day, it's still money. I'm just like, I don't really know if I want or I can afford to spend that this year again,
Hmm.
right? And it's like, and this is the hard part, is like, it's not as if I don't want to, but I have to be responsible with my decision making.
Well, I
And
think that's,
and
I think you're not alone in that. I think that's what a lot of people are looking at, going, well, like, and I guess, to some people, like, another $100 here is not the end of the world.
right.
But I guess everyone's financial situations are very different across the spectrum, right? With fandom and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like, you have to make a decision, because it's not just $100. It's the money as well that you're already committed to paying. So if you go every week and you see every game, and it's great. It is an escape from reality, is escape from the grind of life, which is why sports are so popular. But you also have to sit back and go, well, this is a level I can't afford anymore, or this is a level I don't want to pay out for abject failure every year, with false promises and fake excuses, and just the BS that comes with Keith Pelly, Jason Hernandez, and to a certain degree Robin Fraser, because they talk about, as if we're challenging and talking about we're being competitive, and they talk a great game, and then you watch a 1-1 draw every week. You've watched, I don't know, how many times have we won at home this year? Two, three?
I I can't remember, right? Like, the all the talk at this current moment, unfortunately, is our 7 game unbeaten streak. Okay, with you can't even call it unbeaten, our 7 game draw streak. And that sounds so weird or so so bad in many other ways, but you get my drift. The point is, this team is a joke, right? And thing is,
And
everyone's been making fun of this team, and we have to sit here and just take it at this point, because there's nothing we can do as a fan base to defend this club,
yeah, that's fair.
right? Like,
That's fair.
how can
Right.
we defend it from our academy, from all the players that every time a player leaves TFC, they end up succeeding elsewhere? Is just like, it's becoming that, say, like, it's just enough's enough. Like, can we just fix our shit, plain and simple?
I think that's the biggest problem, though, right? We just, we've been mired in this, and I'm in a city where right now they're chasing, you know,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
chasing their best ever season, and I walked into my office yesterday, and there's a season ticket holder that works in my office, and I just got it coming up the stairs into the office. I was just like, I got nothing. I got
Yeah.
nothing. What am I going to
And
say? He
you're gonna
sucks.
get it again. Are you going back in the office today? Are you flying
I
back here?
am. No, I'm in the office all day today and
So
tomorrow. So
you're gonna get it again, because they just won the championship last night. So he's gonna gloat some more.
did they
The
really?
first
Oh,
fourth
Jesus
fourth
Christ!
in a row. So, like, but you know what? At this point, like, their success is just even turning me off of watching, like, MLS at this moment. Like, I'm like, oh, our team sucks, and I'm sick of everything about them. So I'm like, I'm just turned off of North American football at this current moment. I couldn't care who. I'm gonna openly say I'm that guy that is openly hoping some other team wins the MLS Supporters Shield. Doesn't matter how Vancouver
Yeah,
does in the
it's
playoffs. I just need somebody else to win. I need somebody else to win one of the other trophies. But ideally, if you can win the Supporters Shield, then it's like, all right, no, doesn't matter what any Vancouver fan says. They have not had the best season in Canadian club history.
no. I think you have to win the treble to do that. Oh, do you know what I mean? I think
Yeah,
that's what you have to do to beat that TFC thing. But we are
but They're
long
building.
since that day.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, we're. I don't. At this current moment, we're not. We can't even be in any kind of trophy type conversation. Not even in the Canadian Championship can we pick up our chest anymore. It's been a long time since we've had any kind of success when it comes to that. Like technically, our last win was the COVID win.
Yeah, I was looking actually. I was pulling the attendance up earlier just for curious. So our largest attendance this year was 28,000. The lowest has been 14,000. The average is 21,000.
Yeah,
Do you think that's
they've had.
higher or lower next year?
Uh, see, we have to. I think it's going to be lower, and I think part of the problem is the World Cup because I'm
Mm.
pretty sure we're going to see a front loaded
It's a
schedule.
horrible. It's going to be a horrible fixture list, by the way. Yeah.
That's going to be part of the problem, right? And you and I remember what it's like in those late February, early March
When we're
games, and
playing 5 games in March.
right? And they're going to do that same unfortunate scenario this year or next season because, again, it's not just a matter of the league shutting down during the World Cup. It's the fact that they won't have access to any of the fields that are any MLS stadium that is also a World Cup stadium. The club loses access 30 days prior to the World Cup. So you have the shutdown, you have that. So the schedule is going to be front loaded early and maybe some late games, which is, it's just going to be a nightmare any which way you slice it. So I
Yeah.
don't see an increase. I see a decrease in that's why I have to question about this waiting list. Who wants to spend money knowing what they're walking into going into next season?
I think
Um,
there's the question. There's a lot of questions, but I think at the end of the day, I think we have to kind of sit here and wait till the end of the season, see what they do with signings and DPs and who they re-sign, because obviously we have all those questions coming up. But I just you kind of hope somebody out there asks the questions, right? That says, hey, a large percentage of your real hardcore diehard fans are now turning away, and what's the club's thought on that? Because I think it'll be a question that I hope that gets asked, but I doubt it will. Um, but I don't think to a certain degree, I do think they want to price out some of those lower tickets because as we've been told many times before, right? Um, there's always the casual tourist who will pay more than those ones that turn up every week. So we, but when you do that, you lose the atmosphere. And just to kind of end on that point, I was reading a really interesting article from The Athletic yesterday on Chelsea in England, squeezing out their loyal supporters and selling tickets to tourists, and then the coach and the fans screaming about lack of atmosphere. Well, you get what you pay for. And if you want to keep loyalty and you want to keep those fans that bring it every single week and that turn up and rain or shine, even through the shitty years, absolutely give everything for the club, you got to make some concessions to keep that, because at the end of the day, that's what, if you want an atmosphere, that's what it is. Because I can tell you, like, no one that's coming in for one game, visiting from somewhere else is gonna come in and be like, all right, I'm gonna go to Toronto FC today and sing my heart out for 90 minutes. It's just not gonna happen. And we know the club loves that. and they love to promote that, but they're essentially killing that.
What's going to happen when they kill the vibe in the South End and Apple pans or whoever's streaming it pans to a boring South End stadium
It will just look like
or
every other
half
MLS team.
or a half full stadium, because that's what's going to happen is whether they like it or not, the South End attracts people to the stadium. A vibe of, you know, that made me want to be part of that environment when it was boisterous, when it was loud, when it was, you know, energizing, when it truly helped the club, like the club, the team, the players felt that vibe. The club is destroying that bit by bit, you know, because you and I know what they've tried to do in the South End, and you're right. This ticket pricing is a way of them slowly but surely getting what they want in the South End, and you know what? So be it. If that's what it is that ends up killing the vibe at BMO Field, there's only one. You know, the upper management will only have themselves to blame.
Yeah. So I did just look up our home record this year: 2 wins, 7 draws, 7 losses. That's
No,
that
it's
is that is the price of failure. 2 wins,
yeah.
2 wins all season at home.
Ooh, what a team! What a team! And by the way, Noel and I did not plan on both wearing black for this show. We're not.
I'm actually rocking a Toronto. Actually, I know I gotta
Mine's
go and
just
put a suit on in about 5 minutes, but like I was like, all right, I've got to have something that's not like I don't want to look like business Noel today. So, yeah, it's funny because I know my lovely curtains and this huge freaking room I've got. So
yeah.
yeah,
We're
it's
not
all good.
protesting. It's not anything. It's all coincidental.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
Uh,
it's an interesting day, but again, we just wanted to record and just be like, look, we hear you, like we really do hear everybody, and everyone has to make a choice, and everyone's, we're at that point, right? It's a crossroads, I think, for the club, and I don't think they realize it, but they're
yeah.
oblivious to a lot of things, to be fair.
Well, we know there are members of management or people that work at TFC that have listened to our show in the past. So hopefully they do listen to this episode, because it's not an attack on the club. It's just realities that you're pricing out fans, right? And it's not just a matter of, people crying about, you know, the cost. It's the product hasn't made people want to return. It's
Yeah,
really that simple, right? Take a hard look. Like you just said, 2 home wins is why that doesn't make people think like this team is going somewhere. I don't care about all these draws. You've got 2 home wins. That's it. And the only thing you can do is get one more. Like that still doesn't change anything. Even if you were to win the last game in a home game of the season, that doesn't really change anything.
essentially, it would be 6 wins all season if we win the next one, right? Like, it's just that, again, it's just that's it's the ambition, it's where they are, and rebuild. I think that's, like, we should have a scarf that just says rebuilding.
Yeah, rebuilding 2025, rebuild 2026, rebuild 20, like that's going to be the supporter group, okay? Forget
No,
about
knowing this club, they'll bring out a scarf that says "Make TFC Great Again." So
oh, please don't say that. Oh, that'll piss off someone.
I don't care. I just
Uh,
we are what we are, and we
it's
are not a
we're
good team,
joking.
and
Yeah,
we are we're an expensive hobby. That's what it's becoming. So
an over. Yeah, yeah. We'll leave it at that. Anyways, this was supposed to be a 10 to 15 minute show, and we kind
we're
of.
at half an hour. I know. I just looked at the clock and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go to work in half an hour. So thanks for everyone for watching, and for you don't forget to smash a like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. We do appreciate you all, and we will be back soon. Thanks,
All right,
Sean.
take care, folks. All right, no, have a good one.